everybody, how's it going? I was tagged in a recent challenge by M from M's Books Are Everywhere. I think that's her name. Also, I want to do a quick apology if you hear any thunder, just like that. There's a huge storm rolling in, and my dog's freaking out over here, but she'll be fine. So what this challenge is I'm gonna pick, well, not me, I'll get into it. I'm gonna have my husband come out and choose 10 books that he finds appealing in whichever way. We'll get into that when he comes out. But I'm going to read the first paragraph of these books and rank them in order from 10th to 1st, or 1st through 10th, whatever you want to call it, and which one I want to be my next read based off of their first paragraph alone. I have 17 books here for him to go through. I just grabbed my basic books that are by me when I'm filming upstairs. A lot of these are on my 25 of 2025, like Eragon, Once I Knew, The Ember Blade, Red Rising, Where Darkness Dwells, Mammoth. And I think I have The Lost Boys with Barlow Theater, which I wasn't gonna bring Jaime Jo Wright down because normally I love doing Jaime Jo Wright during the fall, but just to break up some of the fantasy, because most of these, as you can see, are fantasy heavy and they're not just standalones, they're series. So, but he is putting Little Man down right now, so I'm waiting on him to come out. M did hers a little bit different. She rolled dice, but I kind of want to incorporate my husband in this, though he's going to be sitting off screen, so you will not see him because he doesn't want to be on camera, which is totally fine. Alright, randomly pick one book out of these. You can choose by the cover, you can choose it by reading the description, the title. You don't have to tell me, just pick one right now. Because what this is I'm gonna have 10 books. I'm gonna read the first chapter and rank them to see which one's gonna be my next read. But right now, just do one.
No.
Mammoth? Because of the title? It's got a pretty cover. Mammoth. Alright. This is actually an indie author. And I would like to get the rest of the series. Oh, that's cool. It's even got pictures of the characters. Episode 1, The Storm. Has a little quote, says, "You couldn't help the world you were born into. All you could do was your best to change it." Interesting. So, literally the first paragraph is one sentence. Everything started with the storm. I'm going to go into the second one because I need more than that. Thunderstorms were not an uncommon occurrence in Mammoth, Washington, a forested mountain town that bordered the sea. Tommy Rhodes had always loved a good storm. Native to the Pacific Northwest, he weathered his fair share, but something about this storm front planted a sense of dread squarely in the pit of Tommy's stomach, and he couldn't quite shake it. Probably because this was his first storm to hit the coast after his father's death last winter. Not a bad start. This is the one where my spine is a little damaged. Okay, well, obviously that's in first place because that's the only one I read. Caraval. Technically, I have already started this, but I'm going to have to restart it. So, Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Is it bad that I've gotten that far into the book and I forgot everything that I mostly read? And it does have a map as well. The Isle of Vista. That's quite easy. That's chapter 1. It took 7 years to get the letter right. We'll just put that underneath Mammoth because Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. Oh, another map. So pretty. Okay, chapter 1. We're already jumping into fantasy words I can't say. The ghosts are still here. The words lingered in the air, each one a shimmering spirit, cold whispers of caution, but I wasn't afraid. Yeah, that sucked. So that one is going to go under Caraval, because at least with Caraval, where the darkness dwells.
Sure.
Is that the one you pointed at?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Where the Darkness Dwells by Andrea Renae. First book in Song of Solace. Another map. This has a part 1. I'll read that after if I do choose this. I have known darkness all my life. The Vale folk say it isn't sinister, it should not be feared. It is for our good. For 17 years I've pretended to accept it, but when my eyes are closed, I imagine I can see everything that lies around me for miles and miles. When sleep takes me, I dream of lights that burn unimaginably bright and banish every hint of shadow.
Sounds cheery.
I'm going to put this one under Mammoth. So far, Mammoth is winning. Gardens of the Moon by Steve Erikson. Another fantasy book that I started but forgot I owned. And now I'm going to have to pick it up again. Alright. There's some poems there. Go past that. Okay. The stains of rust seemed to map blood seas on the black, pocked surface of Mock's vein. A century old, it squatted on the point of an old pike that had been bolted to the outer top of the hold's wall. Monstrous and misshapen, it had been cold hammered into the form of a winged demon, teeth bared in a leering grin, and was tugged and buffeted in squealing protest with every gust of wind. Is it me or is that kind of lackluster too? It just seems a little lackluster. I'm gonna throw this back on those poems because I'd have to go back. I'd say this one's a little bit better than Dance of Thieves, but still under Caraval. Will you stop? The Golden Compass by Phillip Pullman. Lyra and her demon moved through the darkening hall, taking care to keep to one side out of sight of the kitchen. The 3 great tables that ran the length of the hall were laid already, the silver and the glass catching what little light there was, and the long benches were pulled out ready for the guests. Portraits of former masters hung high up in the gloom along the walls. Lyra reached at the dais and looked back at the open kitchen door, and seeing no one, stepped up beside the high table. The places were laid with gold, not silver, and the 14 seats were not oak benches, but mahogany chairs with velvet cushions. Why did Effie just scream into my head? That was mahogany! I don't know. I forgot. Have you ever seen the Golden Compass movie? I forgot they have like little spirit animals next to them. I forgot they were called demons. I don't like that. Daemon. It's a demon, right? I think that one's going to be under Dance of Thieves. It didn't really call out to me. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book of a 14-book series called The Wheel of Time. I was seeing if you were going to react to 14 books. No. Okay, the palace still shook occasionally as the earth rumbled, and memory groaned as if it would deny what had happened. Bars of sunlight cast through rents in the walls made motes of dust glitter where they yet hung in the air. Scorch marks marred the walls, the floors, the ceilings. Broad black smears crossed the blistered paints, and glit of once bright murals, soot overlaying crumbling frenzies of men and animals which seemed to have attempted to walk before the madness grew quiet. The dead lay everywhere, men and women and children, struck down in attempted flight by the lightnings that had flashed down every corridor, or seized by the fires that had stalked them, or sunken into stone of the palace, the stones that had flowed and sought almost alive before stillness came again. In odd counterpoint, colorful tapestries and paintings, masterworks all hung undisturbed except where bulging walls had pushed them awry. Finely carved furnishings inlaid with ivory and gold stood untouched except where rippling floors had toppled them. The mind-twisting had struck at the core, ignoring peripheral things. Did that put you to sleep? What do you think on that one? No? Yeah. That one seems even less than the Golden Compass. Okay. Oh my goodness. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, oh my goodness, it's alright. So far, Mammoth is still winning. I was looking at this one as kind of the next read, but we will see. Prisoners of Thornbrill by Hannah Pennington. They would not have this one. The green-mantled figure fled with amazing speed on a shimmering unicorn, their breath misted in the crisp morning air. Shouts echoed throughout the forest behind them, and the green rider leaned forward just as an arrow whizzed past them. After whispering in the unicorn's ear, the rider straightened and adjusted the reins in a pair of white-knuckled hands. With a determined shake of its mane, the unicorn lurched forward, streaking through the wood on hooves aglow with golden sparks. That I'm going to put under Where Darkness Dwells and Above All. Ooh, The Lost Boys of Barlow Theater by Jaime Jo Wright. Sometimes death came quietly, a phantom swooping in and siphoning the last remnant of a soul from one's body, leaving behind a shell of a person who once was and would never be again. Other times, death decided that dramatics coupled with terror were its preferred method of delivery. Tonight was the chosen form death took. That sounded really good. But is it better than Mammoth? That is the question. I might have to read Mammoth again, but we'll see, because that... You realize only 2 of these books that you chose for me are not fantasy. Okay, so this is The Amulet of Samarkand, the book 1 of the Bartimaeus trilogy by Jonathan Stroud. The temperature of the room dropped fast. Ice formed on the curtains and crusted thickly around the lights in the ceiling. The glowing filaments in each bulb shrank and dimmed, while the candles that sprung from every available surface like a colony of toadstools had their wicks snuffed out. The darkened room filled with a yellow, choking cloud of brimstone in which indistinct black shadows writhed and roiled. From far away came the sound of many voices screaming. Pressure was suddenly applied to the door that led to the landing. It bulged inward, the timbers groaning. Footsteps from invisible feet came pattering across the floorboards, and invisible mouths whispered wicked things from behind the bed and under the desk. Well, this one definitely does not beat out my top 4. I'm trying to figure out if it beats out Caraval or if it goes under Caraval. I'm gonna put it under Caraval. That's 2 books.
Well, I'll take the bottom one back.
What?
Then you give me the bottom one back.
You don't want that one? This is Eragon. Stealing the bottom one back. Okay, so he traded out The Eye of the World for Eragon by Christopher Paolini. That's how you say his last name, but I'm not really sure. Oh, it's got a really pretty map. Love it. Also, from what I've heard of everyone who's read this, said it's so much vastly different than whoa, that's weird. The page numbers aren't to the side instead of down here on the top. Interesting. Wind howled through the night, carrying a scent that would change the world. A tall shade lifted his head and sniffed the air. He looked human except for his crimson hair and maroon eyes. I don't know where to put that one.
Obviously, at the top.
I don't know. That's kind of hard to beat out Mammoth and Barlow Theater. You like Eragon's start.
I'm biased.
You're biased? Huh?
Whatever. That stupid book.
What?
The one with the bird on
The one with the bird. So, Mammoth.
it. Oh,
What? Are you okay, old man?
no.
Okay, so these will go into. Okay. So, read these two again. I'm pretty much on the fence, but hubby says the one with the bird on it. So, Mammoth by Brian McBride. It's gonna be up. Which, from what I know of the author of the book, is supposed to be like Indiana Jones and the Goonies had a baby. So, we will be hopping into Mammoth. Going over the rankings again, Mammoth by Brian McBride in first place. The Lost Boys of Barlow Theater by Jaime Wright in second. Where Darkness Dwells by Andrea Renae in third. Prisoners of Thornbrill by Hannah Pennington in fourth. Eragon by Christopher Paolini in fifth. I think that's how you say his last name, not fully sure. Caraval by Stephanie Garber in sixth. The Amulet of Samarkand? I don't know how to fully say that. By Jonathan Stroud in seventh. Gardens of the Moon by Steve Erikson in eighth. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson in ninth. And finally, The Golden Compass by Phillip Pullman in 10th. Thank you so much again to M for tagging me in this challenge. It's really fun to kind of go through and check that out. Normally, if I'm struggling to find a next read, I normally read the first chapter, but hey everyone, editing Jaime here. So, for some reason, my original ending, got cut off. I don't know why, but it did. And so, with that, I'm having to re-record this. But, yes. With this, I'm going to challenge 2 other people. Don't feel like you guys have to do this. Or if you do want to do it, don't feel like you have to do it anytime soon. But I do want to challenge Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library and Celestria. And her channel's name is Celestria. I found this really fun because you kind of see how important that first paragraph really is to suck you in. And some of them were, I was actually surprised, really lacking. But either way, this is the end of this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!